what are slide docs? Slide docs are a mix between a visual report and a presentation. And if you've ever read any of Nancy Duarte's books, she does a lot on presentation design and report design, but she also has this little slide doc. It's a slide doc about slide docs. So if you go to duarte.com/slidedocs, you can download it right there. Over time, I've been seeing a lot more slide docs in all sorts of different places. So this one right here is an organization I worked with, the International Labor Organization. It's a UN organization, and their annual report for the past few years have been slide doc style. So widescreen instead of up and down. It's highly visual. There are a lot of charts, a lot of pictures, reads more like a magazine. Now, because it's a big kind of UN agency report, it's still more word heavy than you would find in some visual reports, depending on your stakeholder group. But there's consistent formatting. If you go through, there's this little box that goes outcome to outcome on every single page of this report when it goes through sections. And then there's a pretty standard column views. They have call out boxes that they stick in there. And then they use tables and charts throughout. There are a lot of charts, graphics, and call outs because these kinds of things help our eyes navigate the pages. Here's another report. This is an Encompass built report. Actually, there are a few different agencies involved in creating this, but it's a USAID report. Again, it's wide format, it's highly visual, that sort of thing. But there are section breaks. You go from section to section. There's a little title screen before you go into each section, a little table of contents. There's a navigational element. Down here, you see these three lines. When you go from section 1 to section 2, this goes from red here to red here to red here. So it gives you this little kind of visual way to know how far you are through the report, which section you're in. If you're just flipping through the pages, the changing of color from a background color, when you go back and forth between this blue color to the white color, it lets your mind know that you're changing up sections. So these kind of design tricks help people pace through their reports and understand that they're going from one section to the next section to the next section. It helps you kind of guide your way through the report. So you're like, oh, where am I? Oh, I'm in section 1. I'm in section 2. I'm in the method section. It depends on how you lay it out and how you structure it. And there's a lot of visual consistency. The titles are always up at the top. There's always this kind of subtitle up here. There's a box here. There's a picture here. On a lot of the different pages, they look just like this. There's pretty consistent levels of word counts on different pages. It makes it really easy to flip through the pages. So here's another guide. This one was created by me. I pretty much create all my guides in wide format now because it's just so much easier. I tend to use Canva too. It's like a presentation that's designed to be read. So I design it like a presentation, not as much like a report. When designing a presentation, you tend to go from idea to idea to idea. Instead of delivering a report where you're standing in front of it, you have to let the words do the work as well. So you're mixing words and pictures. You have to replace yourself with the words. You have to also make it really easy to skim. So this is a Zoom guide. So if you pick it up and you're going through and you already know how chat works, you probably just skip this page. But you see really quickly by the header that it's about chat. You see the pictures, you see it's talking about chat. You're like, I don't care about that. I'm just going to move on. Here's another little guide I created on UX evaluation. I use the same kind of pattern for this page over and over and over again. Then I have different considerations and questions and activities. And the idea is to do this repeating pattern that makes it really easy to create, but also really easy to understand and process. The tools to use when creating slide docs. PowerPoint, easy one. Keynote, if you're on Mac, you can definitely use these kind of tools to create your slide docs. And I usually do the traditional kind of format, not the super widescreen format, just because it prints better on paper if anybody wants to print it. You can do either way. I've seen slide docs that are widescreen and not. I tend to use this. Not only that, if I want to export individual slides out as visuals, I can save them all as PNGs or other kinds of graphics and then use them as illustrations on a blog post or on Twitter. So you can essentially, every single slide can become its own little infographic or featured image. But the other thing I use quite often is Canva. I'll pull off one of their templates and then I'll adapt the template to meet my needs. So there are all sorts of different slide templates. And when you find a slide template, you'll notice that this template is pretty close because that's the template I used. I just changed the colors a bit, changed the styles, maybe changed some of the text and fonts. But this just gave me a head start into how to create it. And you'll also notice that there's different color varieties, different shades. They tend to play off two different main colors. So this one goes off the yellow and the blue and white. But by having these different color possibilities, what you can do is you can have certain things for different sections or section breaks so that you can kind of pace through your presentation or your report.